Let's get straight to the point. There's a claim that if you leave the religion of Islam, you must be killed. Is this really Allah's law? We're going to find out right now. And we're going to use only one book to find the truth, the Quran. No confusing opinions, no outside books, just the main source. What the Quran itself says first, the most important rule. In the Quran, chapter 2, verse 256, it says, "There is no force in religion." Think about that. No force. That means no one can be forced to believe, and no one can be forced to stay. It's a free choice. So how can you say you're free to choose, but then say if you choose to leave, you die? That makes no sense. The two ideas completely cancel each other out. Second, people who support this punishment love to use one verse. It's in chapter 5, verse 33. But this verse is for people who start wars and cause violence and chaos in the land. This rule is for terrorists and violent warlords. It is not for a person who is sitting at home having doubts about their faith. Using this verse to justify killing a peaceful person is just wrong. Third, and this is the real proof. The Quran itself, in chapter 4, verse 137, talks about people who believed, then disbelieved, then believed, then disbelieved again. Wait a minute. How could anyone leave the faith a second time if they were killed the first time they left? It's impossible. This verse proves that people left the faith and were allowed to live. The Quran is very clear that Allah will be their judge in the afterlife, not people on earth. So, if this command isn't in the Quran, where does it come from? It comes from a hadith, which is a saying of the Prophet that was written down by people hundreds of years later. Sahih al-Bukhari 6922 says, "Whoever changes his religion, kill him." Now we have a problem. The Quran, Allah's direct word, says no force. But a saying, recorded by men, says, kill them. When a human report says the opposite of Allah's own book, which one do you follow? The Quran calls itself the criterion in chapter 2, verse 185. That means it's the ultimate rule book that separates right from wrong. And that hadith, that saying, completely fails the test of Allah's rule book. Now some people will make excuses. They'll say, "Oh, but that rule is only for a special Islamic country." That's a weak excuse. The Quran's rule of no force in religion is for everyone, everywhere. It doesn't have an expiry date. A government cannot cancel out Allah's main law. Then they'll say, but only a special judge can give that order. That's like arguing about which policeman gets to arrest you for a crime you didn't even commit. Who enforces the rule doesn't matter, if the rule itself is wrong in the first place. A judge's job is to follow the main rule book, not to enforce a rule that goes against it. So let's end this. The command to kill someone for leaving their faith is not in the Quran. It comes from a human report that goes directly against the Quran's main rules of freedom and justice. The excuses people make are just ways to defend a rule that was never Allah's law to begin with. The Quran is clear. Allah did not give this command.